Dhamar, Dhrupad, Dadra, Sadara, Chand, Prabandh, Khayal, of course, Thumri. And this is an area there, this is a place, this is a soil where um, even the traditional folk music has been given the same importance and same respect as the Mar and Drupad. And somewhere the musical geniuses, took them to such level.
Welcome to This Week at the NCPA. This is historic. NCPA HSBC Bandish returns. It's an NCPA presentation supported by HSBC India. A 3-day festival, a tribute to legendary composers, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of August. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6:30 p.m. onwards. Tickets are live now at Book My Show as well as at the venue. Day 1 has the Gundecha brothers, followed by Sanjeev Abhyankar ji. That's Friday the 2nd of August, 6:30 p.m. Day 2, Saturday the 3rd of August, has Malini Awasthi ji. And day 3 has Uttam Singh ji and his band performing the music of Naushad Sahab and Madan Mohan. I'm very pleased to welcome Sanjeev Abhyankar ji and Malini Awasthi ji on my show. Hi, how are you? How are you,
Namaste.
sir?
All
How are you,
good.
ma'am? Wonderful.
Pleasure to interact, pleasure to speak to you.
Yes.
And
For
really looking forward to this evening. Yes.
Wonderful. I want to first set the tone for this in terms of Bandish itself. Um, have either of you, Malini ji, Sanjeev ji, performed at Bandish before? If not, have you attended this wonderful festival, NCPA HSBC Bandish, before?
Hrishi ji, I have been fortunate to be attached with NCP for last many years, and I have performed for various different themes for them. And it's an amazing, prestigious venue where the audience is wonderful. But as far as this Bandish festival is concerned, I have never performed or I have not attended that. But I can imagine what it is, because Bandish is such an important element of the presentation. I always say that your singing is focused around what composition you are singing. So if you want to really present something different, you need to change the bandish. It is that way. So somewhere when I want to put my own some ideas into my presentation, like alaps, how I want to modulate those things, and if I don't have a particular suitable composition for it, then I cannot present it. So I need the suitable bandish or the composition where I need to put my ideas into practice. So that is how important is bandish. So for the listeners, bandish is a smaller version of the raga, I would say. It's like a seed of the raga. So when we make a seed of the raga and then let it flourish with the elaborations around that. So it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and the larger picture of the raga comes into life. That is what is bandish. And I'm happy that I'm presenting my beloved Guruji Sangeet Matan Pandit Jasrajji's compositions, who are very dear to me. So I'm blessed with those, and I will remember him through. I always remember him through those, but especially this is focused presentation. So I'll be paying a tribute to him in a way.
That's so wonderful. For those of you who'd like a little more information, Sanjeev Abhyankar ji continues to follow his mentor style, which is Jasraj ji style, with renditions of classical as well as devotional music. And like he said, he is going to present select compositions created by Guruji. Talk about the genres. You know, one knows that you sing Khayal, Haveli Sangeet, Sanskrit Pad. Would we be able to hear all the various genres in your performance on day 1, Sanjeev ji?
Yeah. In addition to that, I personally sing Marathi abhangs also, but my Guruji did not sing Marathi abhangs. So my genre has the Marathi abhangs as well in my solos. And about the style, I would say that when you are a son of somebody, you always inherit the qualities of your father. And in addition to that, you contribute your own personality, your own intelligence, and carry forward the legacy. So my style of singing is also it's a combination of what I have inherited from my Guruji, and then my 42 years of practice. I am a child prodigy. I gave my first program when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
So 11 to be precise. So it's like 42 years of my own sadhana has added many dimensions into what I have inherited. And I always give an example like I inherit two flats from my father and I don't want to lose them. I keep them and I build my own two more flats. So I think I've been successful doing that. That's why NCPA is calling me. So first that, and then in this program, yes, Guruji has such a wide variety and repertoire that it's very impossible to present that in 1 hour 30 minutes or 1 hour 15 minutes. So I have tried to I've chosen some select few because every composition of him is for me it's
Beautiful.
a great composition. So anything I think is going to be a hit, but I need to see the innings progressing to the climax kind of thing. So I have chosen the compositions in such a way that first the opening batsmen would come, then one down, two down, then Dhoni and Yuvraj would come and
I like that analogy with cricket.
so there will be Khyal compositions, one Haveli Sangeet, one Sanskrit. He introduced Sanskrit compositions on classical stage in a huge number. So I'll take one as a symbol, and then because I'm ending, I'll sing a wonderful Bhairavi. He had so many Sindh Bhairavis composed, so many. It's very difficult to choose one, but I have chosen according to this particular innings and pitch, keeping in the mind the pitch.
You did say that you've not been part of Bandish, so this is your debut as far as Bandish is concerned.
Yeah.
But such an accomplished performer that you are, tell me about experiences of performing in NCPA, whether it is at the Tata Theatre or experimental theatre. If you've had the privilege of performing at Little Theatre or Godrej, if you could recount some memories, that will be very nice.
Yeah. I've performed in all the theatres. Tata Theatre and the another one also, the big one.
Jamshed Baba.
Yeah, there are two big ones and experimental also. And my first program at NCPA was in May 1991. I was only 21 years old, and that has a special memory. That was the theatre without mics.
Oh, wow.
They have a very
Wonderful.
small, I think, some 100 capacity auditorium. So I was introduced as a promising artist. I was 21 years old. And I remember that program for another reason also. Immediately at the night after the program, I traveled to United States. That was my first visit to USA. So I was looking forward to go to USA also. So the NCPA first appearance was in May, sometime in around May 1991.
You know, it's such a wonderful lineup of artists. You've spoken about your own performance. Who else are you really looking forward to watch? Uttam Singh ji, the Gundecha brothers, Malini ji, as an audience member, Sanjeev ji.
No, all. I actually, according to me, because I'm a music student also, right? I mean, in my sadhana, I might be 42 years old, but every 6 months I see myself progressing as a musician. So as a musician, I can appreciate different people and their interpretations of different things. I consider it as different mithais, sweet dishes.
Wow.
I'm a lover of sweet dishes, so I can go on with like from Agra Petha to Mahim Halwa to anything sweet. Bengali mithais I love payasam, anything sweet. So for me, as a student of music, all these people who are performing are going to give a different interpretation, and there is always something to learn from that. So I would love performances of everybody. It is a completely different flavor, different genres. It's an amazing variety NCPA has clubbed in.
Have you performed at Bandish before? If not, have you been there as an audience member?
No, so this is the first time I'll be attending and performing at a Bandish festival. And I thank NCPA for thinking about me, for inviting me over. And I think this is such a beautiful initiative to remember and be grateful to the magical creators who have created these bandishes. And this often happens that we do as performers, are so focused into rendering it so honestly that we often forget to remember the musical geniuses who must have, conceptualize these bandishes. And as I was saying this earlier, all artists have taken inspiration from the 7 notes, from those 12 notes, yet every artist is very distinctly different from one another. And their style can be wonderfully or the best understood through their compositions, through their bandishes. They are the best, I would say, they decipher the best, their masters, the creators. And a lot of time, the old school of learning, the Guru Shishya Parampara, the gurus would always tell their shishyas, ये किन की बंदिश है, ये हमने किन से सुनी, ये हमने किन से सीखी. That was a part of grooming. And unfortunately now, that when the artist sits and perform in front of audience, that is sadly one aspect that is forgotten and ignored. I'm very happy that through this exercise, through this event, I'm getting an opportunity to perform, present some of the forgotten and some of the remembered and brilliant composers and creators of Pura Banaras on the 3rd of August.
Wonderful. Which brings me to my next question. I mean, would you name some of the noted poets and composers of the Banaras region that you're going to be singing their compositions of, so that people are aware before they come in that these are the composers they can expect?
So what happens when, while talking about Banaras, immediately the first thought that comes in your mind is definitely, the allied forms of Thumri, because it has a beautiful tradition of dhamar. It is called chaupat ki gani, chaumukhi gana bajana Banaras ka. Dhamar, Dhrupad, Dadra, Sadara, Chand, Prabandh, Khayal, of course, Thumri. And this is an area there, this is a place, this is a soil where um, even the traditional folk music has been given the same importance and same respect as the Mar and Drupad. And somewhere the musical geniuses, took them to such level. They weaved music into it and they created such, beautiful bandishes. Uh, I would definitely, first of all, I would like to take the name of Bade Ramdas ji. Bade Ramdas ji, I think whatever we are singing today from Banaras Gharana, most of the bandishes are created by him. And while talking of Thumri, uh, there are so many Thumris that we sing of. The ones that I'm going to present also on the 3rd is Chabile Piya and Sajile Piya. Normally, you would have heard, Akhtar Piya, Kadar Piya, Sanad Piya. So, Kadar Piya, Sanad Piya, they're all from Farukhabad and Lucknow, where it is said, Thumri originated from. But Chabile Piya and Sajile Piya, very little is known about them. And when I was asked whether I would love to present Awadh or Banaras Pura Bang, and I said, Awadh I can do any day because Wajid Ali Shah Sahab is there, Hazrat Amir Khusro is there, and there are, well documented and written about. People know them, people sing them. But Banaras, a lot of musical genius, I think they still remain to be, their names need to be told. So one such is Chabile Pia. He was a great, tabla player. He was a great master of tabla. And most of them were great laikar, because unless and until you are, uh, I'm particularly mentioning about Dadaras and Kajri, Chaiti, their chalan is so beautifully captured, because the bandishes, when you listen to the bandish, you can uh, tell, it is coming from a Kalavant who's a tabla exponent, because it is dramatized and composed in a way that it can be fully or better enjoyed with a tabla accompaniment. So he then Sajile Pia also, and then another great genius was Pandit Ram Prasad Mishra, Ramuji, most lovingly known as Ramuji. He was born in Banaras, and later part of his life he spent in Gaya and Kolkata. In fact, he's one of the reasons people say that Gaya Gharana is also a lot credited to him. He was a genius. I can say, and one of the unsung heroes. And I love his compositions. I sing his compositions. Where there is a very distinct style. He has a um, he wrote himself, he composed himself. There is a very delicate andaz, ang, very slightly different from Banaras, I would say. So I will be singing one Bandish and Khamaj, and of course one Savan. And luckily now some of these rare compositions are also available on YouTube. So you can just Google Ramuji from Gaya. You'll find some people have uploaded recently their old recordings. And then I will be presenting Bhartendu Harishchandji. Can say he's a father of Hindi. He is the one we can credit the Hindi we speak and write and know today. He was a genius, and he was a poetic genius. He wrote in prose and poetry both. And one of the plus points that he was very उनका जो उठना बैठना था बनारस की गायिकाओं के साथ था. So at a time when people were very moralistic and they were taking moralistic stand, he was one who would spend his evenings in Dal Mandi along with the singers. And that is how I think by listening to them, he wrote such rich kajri and dadra. There's one very famous dadra which my Guru Girja Devi ji also used to sing. Many of her disciples sing Nayan ki mat maro talwariya. It's a very famous. And then there is one Kahanava Mano O Radharani, sung from Krishna's perspective. So I will be, it's monsoon season, I will be presenting a Kajri or Dadra by Bharti Devi. So there's so many, Premdan, Ambika Datta Vyas, a lot of them who have written and composed, and I'm happy that NCPA has given me this opportunity to bring out, because it took me also some time, because Ramuji and Bhartinduji, we all knew Ramuji is a very recent figure, but regarding Chabileji and Sajila, there were very few people who knew about them. And Pandit Sajan Mishra ji was so happy when he came to know that I was doing this. He said, we speak about Banaras Gharana in such great deal, with such respect, but these are unsung heroes, and congratulations to you that you are working to search their background so that people can come to know about their genius contribution.
I want to talk about language now. I mean, you sing in dialects like Awadhi, Bhojpuri, of course, Hindi. Yes. Is there a dialect that we can expect that is not something that is part of a normal Malini Awasthi show? And if so, then what is that dialect?
That's interesting. You know what, Banaras, the dialect of Banaras is called Kashika. This name was also given by Bhartinduji, because he said very categorically that this is not Bhojpuri we speak in Banaras. It's a very, very originally, very sweet, and most of the Banarasi musicians that you will know speak only in Kashika. So I love to speak in Kashika myself. And I do speak Awadhi and Bundeli because I have had such upbringing. I belong to Lucknow. My Taiji and everybody used to speak in Awadhi. And I relate to it. But then I was brought up in Bhojpur region, which is Gorakhpur. And I learned everything in Banaras. So ultimately it comes down to Banaras. So a normal Malini Awasthi show, you will find Malini Awasthi speaking in Banarasi. ये जैसे कि I will ask people कि का भैया का सुने के मन हो, बतावा भैया तो आज कजरी हुई जाए. So, and I think since music is also a conversation, if you are performing in a temple, then it is a spiritual conversation. If you are performing in front of an audience, then of course you have come for them. It has to be a dialogue. It has to be a conversation. Whatever I'm singing has to be emoted. So the conversation, or when I talk, if I talk, also comes out naturally in that part of dialect. And I think that is the beauty. If I sing in dialect and talk in Hindi, maybe I will be simplifying and making it easy for people to understand. Like we have to do at times when we perform abroad, we have to talk in English for them to understand. But I think talking in the same dialect, which is very natural, never deliberately chosen, I think people like it also. The connect remains connected.
Malini ji, my last question to you is any fond memories of performing at the NCPA in these wonderful theatres, either at the Tata Theatre or Jamshed Baba or the Little Theatre, the Godrej or the Experimental?
So I have performed twice, once with my guru, Girija Devi ji, main theatre, and I was accompanying her on Tanpura. This was, I think, this has to be 12 years back. And she was here, and it was a full house, and the standing ovation people gave. So वो जो एक सुर में सुर लगाते हैं गुरु के संग, that's a blessing and the beautiful moment. And of course, I've attended function there of Gulzar Sahab's poetry, and Salim Arif Sahab had invited. And once again, I had an opportunity to perform a ghazal event curated by, everybody was there. Bhupen ji, Anup ji, and Ashok Khosla ji, Chandan Das ji. So I performed ghazals there. Again, that is because I belong to Lucknow. As I said, I've told the Bandish curators also, don't forget me next year. I'll come and perform uh, from the creators of Awadh. That is a part again. But I'm really looking forward to performing at NCPA because over the years, NCPA has developed such a rich tradition of great listeners who understand music, who know what they're coming for. Because the three events I mentioned, one was classical, one was a poetry, the third one was a ghazal. And we had different audience. I know them, so I can say this. Um, oh, no, there was one another performance. What could I forget? It was a Thumri event curated by Sangeet Natak Akademi. And I had to do a lecture demonstration on allied forms of Thumri. This was curated by Shekhar Senji, the then chairman of Sangeet Natak Akademi. And I think Ajay Chakravarti ji, Pandit Birju Maharaj ji, everybody was in the audience. It was a beautiful moment. So I remember full house every time, and I remember a very dedicated audience. So I do expect a beautiful audience who will be coming to gain something, learn something from our heritage. So I'm very, very thankful and grateful, whoever recommended me and to NCPA for definitely doing this. I think because I've gone into details and with Sanjeev ji, with Gundecha ji, with Uttam ji, you have again a variety of music being presented, and we being grateful to the masters who created them.
NCPA HSBC Bandish, an NCPA presentation supported by HSBC India, a tribute to legendary composers. It's a 3-day festival, 2nd, 3rd, 4th of August, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Day 1, Friday the 2nd of August, 6:30 p.m. Immediately after the Gundecha brothers has Sanjeev Abhyankar ji. We just spoke to him. Day 2, Saturday, 3rd August, 6:30 p.m. Malini Awasthi ji. Please give the festival a lot of love. Tickets are live now at Book My Show as well as at the venue. Thank you, Malini ji. Thank you, Sanjeev ji.
Thank you
Have
so
a good
much.
day. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
We wrapped today a 5-day rehearsal with the musicians of the Symphony Orchestra of India, where we worked on the Richard Strauss and Johann Strauss program, and I really tried to transmit to all the players all the love that I myself feel for that music to them, and then to make them as excited as I am about performing those pieces.
Welcome to This Week at the NCPA, and you got the grand news from Chairman Khushru Santuk last week about how Maestro Zubin Mehta is going to return to conduct the Symphony Orchestra of India's Autumn 2024 season concerts. And it is not going to be just one concert. A treat awaits you. August 17th and 18th at the Jamshed Baba Theatre, Zubin Mehta conductor, Chen Rees soprano. There's music by Johann Strauss II. And August 24th and 25th, Zubin Mehta conductor, Krasimira Stoyanova, a soprano, an evening of music by Richard Strauss. So really beautiful evenings that await you at the incredible Jamshed Baba Auditorium. I'm very pleased to welcome back onto my show Adelina Hasani. She's such an accomplished violinist, solo violinist as well as concert master. As a guest concert master, she's worked with some of the biggest orchestras in the world, and I had the good pleasure of actually watching her perform at the Jamshid Baba when Maestro Zubin Mehta was in town the last time around. How are you, Adelina? So wonderful to see you.
Hello, hello. I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you.
I want to start with the program. Who better than you to educate us about the two Strausses, Johann Strauss II and Richard Strauss?
Well, that's a huge task to educate. I don't know if I am able to do that, but I
Just
think
the
the program
basics.
is amazing. The program is really amazing. The Johann Strauss, for me personally, is always linked with the New Year's celebrations. I find it a little strange that I have to play. Not that I have to play, that we are playing Johann Strauss, the waltzes, in August, because we normally in Europe, it is for me and for many people in Europe, is associated with the New Year's celebrations. So it's always played in the New Year's concerts in January, and the most famously by the Vienna Philharmonic, the Musikverein in Vienna, with the concerts of New Year's concerts. But I understand, if I'm not mistaken, and please you correct me, that in August 17th or 18th there's a Parsi New Year.
That's right. It is.
There you go. So then I understood the link. So I think it is fantastic. So it's really great. So I'm going to have 2 New Years this year. One in January for us, and then one in August as well. That's about the Johann Strauss. I think the audience in Mumbai is in for a fantastic treat, because Maestro Zubin Mehta, there's none other than him that can do this in an amazing way. And I think for the orchestra, for the Symphony Orchestra of India, it's going to be a huge masterclass to play and to perform these pieces for the Maestro Mehta. And regarding Richard Strauss, we're playing there 3 of the most amazing pieces of symphonic repertoire, and Don Juan, which the orchestra has already played. But the orchestra has never played the Heldenleben, the hero's life. And this is an incredible piece. And maybe not so easy to hear, to understand it if you hear it only once. But we have 2 concerts, so you have the possibility to come twice if you can. And but this is an amazing piece, and I think for the orchestra it's so great to learn this piece and to play it for the first time. I think for everybody, mostly lots of people from the orchestra are playing this piece for the first time, and then to play it under the baton of Maestro Mehta. I think they are incredibly lucky. So these are amazing pieces, and it's a very challenging program for the orchestra, but I'm sure with the leadership of Maestro Mehta, it's going to be a real treat, a real feast.
Well, just to add to what Adelina has talked about, she's right. Johann Strauss normally is performed in the Viennese musical tradition during New Year's concerts. And trivia for you guys that on 5 occasions, at least on 5 occasions, Maestro Zubin Mehta has wielded the baton and conducted the orchestra at the iconic Vienna New Year's concerts. So he's obviously one of the finest interpreters of not just Johann Strauss's music, but also Richard Strauss's music. So I believe rehearsals are underway. Adelina, what is the mood like? Are rehearsals in full swing? How's the orchestra feeling? How are you guys going about your business?
We wrapped today a 5-day rehearsal with the musicians of the Symphony Orchestra of India, where we worked on the Richard Strauss and Johann Strauss program, and I really tried to transmit to all the players all the love that I myself feel for that music to them, and then to make them as excited as I am about performing those pieces. Not only the Johann Strauss, which is a little bit more accessible for listening and for playing, but as well the Richard Strauss, the hero's life. So it was very hard working, and it is it's not only physical work, but it's mentally as well, very engaging and very, it requires a lot of concentration. It requires a lot of skills, and you have to be physically incredibly in shape to play such pieces. It is the most difficult technically repertoire to play, basically. So I am very happy. The musicians are very excited and enthusiastic and looking forward. Now we practiced. They will digest all the information that that I was able to convey to them in these 5 days, and work on it slowly until August, when we come back again, and then the whole full gear of the Symphony Orchestra of India is going to be here, and then we will be even more prepared and looking forward to it.
The orchestra must be so excited to have Maestro back. What is the mood, the euphoria that you're sensing among them?
I'm really looking forward. I think it's something different if you meet the maestro for the first time. There's always this unknown. You don't know how it's going to be and what the chemistry is going to be, if it's going to click or not. And but I think when maestro, after he heard the orchestra and after he worked with us a year ago, when he agreed to come back, and especially then proposing such a very demanding program, this only shows that he has good trust in the orchestra, and then that maestro believes in the qualities and in the skills that the orchestra has, and that so it's very exciting, and none of us want to disappoint him. After the first time that was so exciting, I think we are even working even harder, if that's possible, to meet the expectations of maestro when we meet him in August.
Like
so we're all very excited.
Like you said, there is a difficulty in some of these pieces.
Yes.
And it is good to be a little nervous. Are some of the members a little nervous about how it's all going to turn out?
Yeah, I think so. Everybody's nervous. I mean, I personally have played these pieces many times, and Helden Leben, for example, The Hero's Life, or Don Juan. These are pieces that it doesn't matter how qualified the orchestra is. This remain always incredibly hard pieces, and lots of people are nervous, but it's the good nerves, which you need, I think. And I'm sure that maestro will give us this. I'm sure he will be able to transmit the kind of peace and tranquility that we need to affront, to be able to play such repertoire, to be able to perform these concerts.
And last year must have been so special. You worked with the maestro so closely for those performances. They were so well appreciated, Adelina. Many people showering you with accolades. It must have felt very special.
Oh, it was great. It was really great. It was a special moment to be on stage with maestro and to see him from so close, and to experience him for so up close. But the concerts were amazing. But for me, even more special were the rehearsals, because there maestro gets to speak. And I don't know if you guys noticed it, but maestro, in the tender age that maestro is, he performs everything by memory, and he does not have a score. It's one thing to perform the concert by memory, but to be able to do the rehearsals. So we were rehearsing Mahler, the Symphony number 1, and sometimes I was assisting maestro because he didn't have the score. He was doing without the score. So I was sometimes saying, this is number, let's say it's number 20. It's figure 20 that we are rehearsing, And then at a certain point, maestro looks and says to me, please, 4 bars before letter D. And I looked at maestro and I said, but how do you know that is 4 bars before letter D? You can only know that when you look at the music. And then he saw I didn't ask him that, I said immediately, we were ready to play. But then he looked at me, he understood, he heard me thinking and asking that question, He says to me, I've done this many times before. I know exactly where the place is, So he had already in his head all the he knew where the tricky places were, so he knew exactly where to ask, and he knows everything. And sometimes when he would say, I want to start here, for example, where the trumpet starts, and to help the orchestra, then I would give him the number. Then, okay, my maestro, it is this number or this bar that we can start from, But I will not forget this moment when he realized that, and then he looked at me and said, I've done it many times before. I know exactly where it is. So, but everything by memory is really incredible. He has all the score here. And it's not easy. There's hundreds of pages and many parts, and he hears every single thing that is out of place, and he points it out. And he does not talk much. He doesn't have to talk much because he shows everything with his hands. So for me, the rehearsals with maestro were even more special. The concerts were fantastic, but that is, you see an end product. But for us to rehearse and to hear his the information or what he tells us and what he wants, and that is really special. So I look especially forward to working on stage on the rehearsals.
We look forward to a glorious autumn season with the Symphony Orchestra of India and the maestro Zubin Mehta coming back. Thank you so much, Adelina Hasani, and we'll see you backstage, if not before. If not before. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very, very, very much. Bye-bye. All the best. Thank you.
94.3 Radio 1.